Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's talk about your home recording studio. You know, I realized lately I've been talking too much. That's just what I do. Let's make some music. Let's try an online collaboration. Vache from RecordingStudio9 has graciously invited me to do an online collaboration with him. And we're gonna try, between the two of us, using Dropbox as an online collaborative tool. We're going to try to use it to sync a project between the two of us and see if when one of us makes changes, the other one can sync and see those changes. This is kind of a first for me. I believe it's kind of a first for him, so a bit of an experiment. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I've got a few kind of firsts going on here this time. This is my first time recording into my new little Zoom H4n recording my voice, so hopefully I can get some more seamless transitions between using a DAW and recording that and everything, and not have to worry about jumping through hoops in Reaper to get that to work. Also, this is going to be my first time using Persona Studio 1. I'm going to be using the Prime version, which is their totally free version. Also, Dropbox is totally free. As far as I know, we're just going to be using all the built-in effects in Studio One. We're not going to try to, add any after-market third-party plugins or anything. So we're going to basically try to do this with widely available free tools and see if me here in Kansas City, Missouri, and he in Sydney, Australia can collaborate from the opposite sides of the world. See if that'll actually work for us. All right, well, let's hop over on the computer and see what we need to do here. All right, one thing to know, and this is before I get started, one thing I'm going to do is hop on to Dropbox. I've already got Dropbox downloaded, installed. I've actually been using it for quite a while. It's handy, it's free to sign up. It is one of those things where they need an email address, which is kind of becoming par for the course in this day and age. But you sign up with them, you download a desktop application, it runs in the background on your desktop, and creates a folder on your computer that anytime you add things to that folder, it automatically syncs to a cloud service, and then you can share that with other people. You can access it online. You can stream stuff from it. It's actually pretty handy. It's actually pretty cool. I've already got it downloaded and installed. Also, I've already downloaded and installed Persona Studio 1 Prime. Again, that's another, you have to create an account with them. They need an email address. And then through that account, you can download and install and register the free Studio One Prime version. So I've already got all that done here. Won't go through it. It's not really what this one's about. All right, let's hop over to the computer. Okay, first things first, one thing I'm going to want to do before I even start messing with this is to go to Dropbox. I'm going to hover over the icon for Dropbox in my notification area here. I am going to tell it to, I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to go to the little settings thing here, the little cog wheel, and I'm going to tell it pause syncing. And what that's going to do is keep it from constantly trying to sync the modifications I make to this project up to the cloud. That just kind of creates a bunch of chatter on my internet connection that, it doesn't really bother me, but I don't really care to have that happen. So I'm just going to pause syncing while I'm doing this whole thing. Once I'm done with my part, I'll unpause the syncing, and that'll sync all my changes up to the cloud, and Vache can get to it from there. Okay, so Vache has given me a project, an entire project with audio files, MIDI files, the project file itself, and a couple of helpful notes. So I'm going to go to my File Explorer, and I'm going to go to my Dropbox folder. I have a few folders on here, but the one that I'm interested in, Vache sent me an email to invite me to share in this folder, so that's why I'm able to see this Sidewalk Love. That's the name of our project we're going to be working on. I'm going to double click on that guy, and he's actually included some really helpful stuff here. First, he's given me the chord chart here, so if I drag that over here, you can see it's got the lyrics and then some reminders of what chords happen where. That's going to be really handy. And also just a lyric sheet. So if I want to follow along, make sure I know where I'm at in the song. So it's kind of cool. That's very handy to have. All right, The folder itself actually contains, you see this .song, and I take it .song must be the file extension for Studio One project files, song projects. We've got the media folder that actually has all the WAV files in it, so this is the actual audio that's in the project. History and cache, we won't worry about those. One thing we're going to want to know when we're collaborating with somebody and we're going to add our own files to an existing project, and this is something Vache and I didn't discuss, what sample rate and what bit depth is he using? So what sample rate and bit depth do I need to use in order to make sure that I'm not going to cause any weird things to happen once I add my files and he tries to listen to it? Now, I don't know how to figure that out in Studio One, so I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to use Reaper just because I'm familiar with it. And in Reaper, I'm going to tell it to insert a media file. I'm going to browse to, oh, it's already here. I'm going to browse to my Dropbox folder, to Sidewalk Love, to media, and I'm just going to grab one of these files. So I'm going to grab like the vocals and just open it. Go back to the beginning here, and we can see, okay, look, there's audio recorded to it. So I'm going to right click on the item itself. I'm going to say Source Properties, and that's going to tell me all about this file. So as I can see, the sample rate is 44.1. Let's see, it doesn't really tell me the bit depth. Bits and sample, it's actually at 32-bit. And I don't know if that's the internal bit depth. That's actually kind of curious. So recording at 32 bits, I guess. 24 is usually plenty, but yeah. All right, okay, well, I'll close that. So at least I know I'm recording at 44.1. So no, don't want to save that. Okay, so what I can do, let me just real quick set up my Fireface here. I've got it recording at 48, so I'm going to make it record at 44.1. Hopefully that's okay. All right, yeah, I'm just going to tell it okay. Boom, boom. All right, well, let's open the file. Let's open the song project and see what's in it. I'm just going to double click on the .song file. That should be associated with Studio One, so yeah, it fires up Studio One here. Okay, here's one thing that you might run into when you're collaborating with somebody. You each have your own copy of the DAW you're working in, but sometimes one person or the other might load a VST effect or a VST instrument, something that the other person doesn't have. And so in this case, it looks like Vache is using a VU meter, and then also whatever, a Minilab 25 used by G Piano. So I don't know if these are actual devices, so maybe he has some peripherals that that some information about them is encoded into the project here, but I don't have either of those things. In the couple of times that I've played this and played around with this project, it hadn't seemed to hurt anything, so I'm not exactly sure what those devices are. I don't have them. So let's just close it and say okay. And it comes up with a little bit of song information, so we get a little bit of, okay, we get the title, we get the artist, we get the album and the year. Oh, and a little link to the artist's website, which is cool. Okay, great. Any notes I need to know? Oh, and this might be handy, you know, as a way that we can kind of communicate back and forth if we have some notes about stuff. You know, could write some stuff there. I'm not going to right now. Maybe once I get into it, if I have any tips, suggestions, or anything, or if he has any critiques or suggestions for things I can do different, and take another whack at recording my parts. All right, so this is a PreSonus product, and I have a PreSonus fader port. And so there's kind of like a natural compatibility going here that I've noticed. It works a little bit differently. My fader port does. Works a little differently than it does with Reaper, but I'm starting to get used to the differences. So we'll go back to the beginning of the project, and let's just play a little bit of the project to see what we're dealing with here. I'm going to put on my headphones so I can hear. Okay. So you can hear some acoustic guitar, a little bit of electric guitar, sustained in the background there. Some vocals. All right, so cool. And he's got some effects on there already, like on the vocals. And so what he wanted me to do is to actually record actual acoustic guitar. So here, let's listen to a couple of the acoustic guitar parts. I'm just going to solo them, which is this S button right here. If I click on that, you can see it mutes everything except for this. So let's go back to the beginning of the song here, and let's hear it again. Just the Guitar Steel 3. So it's kind of funny, in the mix, those guitars are like, I think they sound really convincing. I think they sound really good as just acoustic guitars. And then you start soloing them, and then it becomes more apparent that they're virtual instruments. But there's kind of, you know, there's like a standard tune, or standard tuned guitar. It sounds like it's just playing some open chords, kind of first position chords. Little strumming pattern. So that should be okay. I think I can do that. Let's hear what the other, so he's got a few guitars kind of layered on top of each other. So let's hear what Guitar Steel 2. I'm just going to start in the same part of the song here in one of the verses. So this one's a little more lively. Got a little bit more of a strumming pattern to it. Still sounds like first position kind of open chords. Okay, that's good. And then let's hear Guitar Steel 1. So it's just kind of a little, sounds like there's kind of like a drone strings in the background. And like some different chord inversions. And then that same kind of similar rhythmic strumming pattern that the other tracks had. All right. Well, I'm not exactly sure if his expectation here is for me to try to recreate those 100% accurately or anything, but I think like in an online collaboration or any sort of collaboration, I think it's more about, hey, here's the basic idea, let's see what you come up with. I have a feeling I'm going to stick pretty close to this, just for the ease of making this happen back and forth. So yeah, let's see what we have to do here in Studio One in order to create a new track. I'm just going to try to right click over here, add tracks, T, all right. There we go. So I'm going to call this Acoustic 1. It's going to be an audio. I just want one of them for now. Color, auto color's fine. This is going to be mono because this is one acoustic guitar. I'm going to use one microphone to record it. Presets, no idea what those are. Inputs. That is a good question. Actually, I think I am going to use input 1 because I'm going to use my interface, one of the built-in preamps for my interface. So yeah, we'll stick with input 1. Output, main. Yes, sounds good. That actually sounds kind of cool. I wonder if you could actually route tracks directly to specific outputs. Well, let's click on that and see. Oh, okay. You could send it to FX Reverb, a bus, side chains. Cool. We won't mess with that right now. We're just wanting to do one of the simplest things you can do in any DAW, which is plug one microphone into one preamp, arm it for recording, and just record something. So, you know, we won't get too fancy with the technical parts of it. Okay, I think what I want to do is keep all my tracks down at the bottom of the window here. This will be interesting. Let's see if I can click and drag. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, cool. I have to say, Studio One, for, you know, as a complete newbie to Studio One, the way things work so far has been like really intuitive. I've only played with it just a little bit, but so far I think it looks, you know, it's been easy to get going. Nothing has really stood in my way so far. Let's turn on the metronome. Let me go to the settings and see if I can get kind of a pre-roll here. Pre-count, yes. Pre-roll, maybe not. Yeah, pre-roll. And let's do 2 bars worth of pre-roll. Let's see if that does what I hope it does. Okay, good, good, good. All right, now let's see if there's a way I can duplicate this track, because honestly, I want to do that exactly the same. Just do it again. Duplicate track. Hey, that's handy. Right there. All right. It even named it Acoustic 2. That's awesome. Get rid of record. Gonna see if I can expand this guy. Come on, come on. Such a narrow margin. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna arm him for recording. He's coming from input 1. Let's just. Oh, all right. There we go. Okay, so getting signal. That's good. Anything else I need to set here? I'm monitoring signals, clear the clip indicator. Let's go back to the first of the project. And let's see if we can record something tight with that again, just to double it. Okay, cool. And you know, I don't really do much mixing as I'm tracking, but the whole reason I double track that there is I want to take one of those and pan it all the way left. Pan. How do I pan? Here's acoustic 1 down here. Take it, this little bar here must be pan. Let's put him all the way that way. Let's put the other acoustic guitar all the way that way. Let's hear and see what that sounds like here. All right, yeah, my timing wasn't really just spot on between that, but for right now, illustration purposes, let's just keep it. I will tighten that up tomorrow when I get more time to record. Okay, so let's do a verse, and I think I'm probably just going to end up cheating and just do one verse and one chorus, and then do some copy-paste. Oops, how do we zoom back out? There we go. All right, so you know, yeah, we pick one guitar or the other, and I'll just keep it here on acoustic 2. Let me remind myself what the chords are with Fatche's really handy chord tab sheet here. So it's C sharp, G sharp, F sharp, back to G sharp, back to C sharp. All right, cool. I'm going to put this on my other monitor so I can keep referring to it, because I'm going to forget that. All right, yeah, let's just try to get through one of the verses. Okay, yeah, that was okay. Again, I'm probably going to come back tomorrow and clean this up, because I'd be a little embarrassed to send some of these to him. All right, let's try, I'm just going to double that and do it again. Okay, cool. Sounds good enough for right now. Close enough for rock and roll. Okay, cool. All right, so that, you know, that'll do for right now for just the regular acoustic guitars. I had an idea from listening to the tracks that Vache had in there in the first place. You could hear there were 3 guitars kind of stacked up. So this, the ones we just recorded are kind of like those first position open chords, the cowboy chords. So I've got those. I doubled it to kind of give it some of that same kind of stereo depth, that kind of stereo feel that that 2 of his 3 guitar tracks kind of had on there. And then he's got that 3rd guitar track that's kind of like it almost sounds like a dulcimer or something with kind of like a drone string in it. And it gave me an idea, something that I've never tried before that I'm going to try here. And well, let's grab this other guitar here. This is my old beater acoustic guitar I've had just forever. And what I did is I bought a set of 12-string strings and then just used the 2nd course of strings from those. So it's like the high strings from a 12-string set, just tuned to standard tuning otherwise. And it's called a Nashville tuning or a high-strung tuning. Okay, yeah, so we got it set up here. Let's give it a quick try, see what happens. Okay, cool. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do the same thing as before. I'm gonna find that track, which is right here. Pan him all the way left. I'm gonna duplicate the track and pan him all the way right. There we go. All right, let's disarm the original one. It was thoughtful and named this number 2 for me, which is really cool. Arm for recording. Make sure we're at the beginning of the song here. All right, let's do it. All right, cool. You know, it adds some fullness to it. Kind of adds a little, almost kind of chorusy sound, kind of like a 12-string does. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And at very least, it'll give Vache some options, some things to play with when he's coming to mix. You know, honestly, you know, you don't have to use all these tracks all the time. You can kind of like drop those, that high-strung guitar in and out just when you need some effect. You know, like maybe lose them during the first verse and then bring them in during the second verse to kind of add a little bit, another layer, a little sense of progression to the song. Or just use them during the choruses, or not use them at all, whatever. You know, it's a collaboration. It's up to him. You know, he wrote the song, he arranged the song, so up to him. I'm just trying to throw a couple things in there that might be useful whenever it comes to mixing down. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the song here. No sense to put you all through watching it.
When will I meet her? I don't know. Walking towards a direction, looking for a smile and affection. My heart keeps telling me to go. When will I meet her? I don't know. Keep dreaming of her. Just can't get closer. Clouds over my head.
right, very good. Okay, so let's just say that, that's the end of it. Let's say that's all I want to do. Let's pretend that I'm super happy with the parts that I recorded, and I think it's going to be just awesome, and these are keepers. So what I'm going to want to do, I want to save my project here. I'm going to go to Song, and then I want to go to Remove Unused Files. And this is because once I resume syncing in Dropbox, I don't want to waste time on my end uploading a bunch of abandoned takes that didn't make it into the final project timeline. And also on Vache's end, I don't want him to have to waste time having to download all those extra WAV files if they're not important to the project. So let's click Remove Unused Files, and there's a few abandoned takes here. And I'm just going to say yes, looks great. I'm going to save one more time just in case. Boom, boom. Okay, and remember that we're working off of that project directly in my Dropbox folder here. So within the Sidewalk Love here, so we're actually have been recording into this project. And if I go to the media directory here, yeah, sure enough, you can see here's all the things that I recorded. Acoustic, 12, 12, 12, 20, 20. Yeah, all these bits and pieces and everything that I've recorded. And if we just want to kind of prove it to ourselves, I can right-click. I want to see date modified. Let's scooch him over here and sort descending by date modified. And yeah, sure enough, here's all the stuff, all the files that I've added. So it must create new files every time I copy and paste like that. So I think that's what the parentheses must be. It must have actually created new WAV files instead of just using the same one over and over. So it looks like I've got a bunch of stuff in here when it's really just 4 tracks that I've recorded. But I think all the copy and paste kind of made it do that. All right, so I'm all saved. I'm all done here. And I'm going to go back to Dropbox, hover over its little thing in the notification area here. I'm going to right-click on it. And right here it says syncing paused. Now if I hover over it, it says resume syncing. So I'm just going to click on that and resume syncing. And boom, 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 syncing. 91 files remaining. What in the world? But yeah, you can see it's it's chewing through them. 38 files, 33. I'm a little kind of curious about why there were nearly 100 files, but that must be some of the files that live in these other directories other than media. Maybe it's in cache and history. Maybe it keeps those for an undo history, so you can, yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, those are just project files. Autosaves, okay. So a bunch of autosaves, and the cache, it's probably just a bunch of stuff that peak files, and yeah, we don't care about those, but they're integral to the project. So I believe now we should be all synced. If I right-click on here again, yeah, it says up to date. Okay, so everything that I've done is now out, has been synced with Dropbox's cloud service. Now I just need to send Vache a note, let him know, hey, I got some stuff recorded. Go ahead and resync on your end. Give it a listen. See what you think. If you have any comments, some constructive criticisms or anything, any ideas for something I could do other than that, then he can put the ball back in my court. I can do the same thing, pause syncing, make my changes and edits, and then save, discard all the unused files. Resume syncing, let it sync back out there, let him know. So really one of the most important things here is to not have both people concurrently trying to monkey with the project, because there's going to be some, you basically need to make this kind of mutually exclusive. So Vache created the song, the project and everything, created the Dropbox folder, did everything he was going to do to it. And then he just kind of went into hands-off mode. He's not going to touch it as soon as he lets me know that it's up there. Now it's my turn to do the same thing. I recorded my parts, and now I need to let him know, and then I need to go into hands-off mode and not touch it, not meddle with it, because I don't want to cause complications on his end while he's trying to do his thing. All right, hey, well, I'm kind of anxious to see how this turns out. You know, hopefully Vecchi and I can kind of go back and forth a couple of times and kind of hone in on what he wants and what I can do. So yeah, we'll pick this up again. So this has been fun. Hopefully you've been able to learn a little bit. This one ran a little bit long. I'll try to trim it down in post. But this has been fun, and I'll see you guys again soon. All right.